Hello, I'm Moy, and welcome to Moysage Therapy. Today, I really want to focus on all the things I wish I had time to say to every single one of my patients. Now, assuming that you don't have any underlying conditions, injuries, or serious pathologies going on in your body, that's literally causing you to spend all of your resources on me. Okay, 99% of you literally come in with the same three complaints: neck and shoulders, lower back, migraines, headaches. Okay, I would say I spend the majority of my sessions treating those three things. I'm gonna sit here and tell you all of these, maybe a little bit less on the migraines and the headaches, are due to your repetitive habits. Things that you're doing every single day that literally just keep compounding into your body, okay? Most of us, not all of us, most of us work from a computer. So it's this necessary evil. I absolutely understand. Every job is hard. I don't care what you do, it's just a different type of hard. 99% of all of the patients that come into my clinic work at a desk. So there's this common thread over the years that I've been able to accumulate, right? So sitting literally causes most of your symptoms, okay? Second, reaching and things in front of us, like computer screens, keyboards, mouses, is the second reason. And third, atrophy. The opposite of hypertrophy, weakness, loss of muscle. We, as a species, as humans, are not designed to sit all damn day. Heard? Most of us sit from anywhere from 8 to 15 hours a day. Now, most of us don't work 15 hours. I'm hyper aware of that. But you sit for breakfast, sit in your car, you sit for lunch, you sit at work, you sit on your couch, and then you lay down. So we spent most of our existence going from chair to chair to chair to bed, right? And that is not good for us. The compression that happens in your body, gravity is eventually going to win, right? So yes, we all can work on our posture. Holding this upright for way too long is eventually just going to collapse. Gravity is always going to win, which I absolutely understand, but that's a signal. When your body is starting to compress, that is literally a sign. Your body is literally begging for you to move. The most productive thing you can do if you work at a computer all day is set a timer for every 20 to 30 minutes to literally get up and stretch. Move your body around, hold your neck, right? Move your wrists, stretch your forearms, things like that. I really want you to imagine this with me. I want your legs and your arms to be a hose. Yeah, like a garden hose, right? Do you remember like whenever you're pulling it out for the first time during spring and it's all coiled up and it's getting all these kinks and the water's not really flowing? Like a little bit is, but not really, not with full force. Well, that happens, that same thing happens in our limbs, right? If you bend your fingers, you bend your wrist, you bend your elbow, you bend your shoulder, and then you bend your back, my God, literally got T-Rex arms. You are literally kinking the hose. The number of times a patient comes in and says, I think I have carpal tunnel. And I go, you do? That's crazy. What happened? And then they tell me all of their symptoms, numbing and tingling, going into these fingers, into the palm, yada, yada. And I go, okay, great. Show me your work posture. And then we start walking through it. And then I start checking for assessments, right, of range of motion in every single joint, going all the way to the neck. And lo and behold, all of them start reporting less symptoms, and less than 6 weeks have no symptoms, just because of lengthening, opening up these areas, unkinking the hose. When you sit, same thing in the legs. You're bending at the hips, you're bending at the knees, and you're bending at the ankles. So you start having things like sciatica. Most of these conditions are absolutely preventable. Most of us can take charge of our daily activity and our habits to start reversing some patterns. Okay, another thing I want to be super clear on is our bodies are designed to compress and expand, right? Flexion and extension, right? So everybody knows what the abs do, right? It flexes our body, like crunches, right? Well, we have the same or similar mechanism on the backside called the rectors that picks up our body. That's what allows us to hold up like a big strong posture, right? And the trunk of the body is these two muscles, right? The abs and the back muscles, the rectors, that are creating this homeostasis in the trunk. Think of them both firing at like 50%, right? To keep us upright, right? Really strong trunk. With that being said, that same harmony exists all over the body. So if we are constantly flexing at the abs and fully lengthening through the back, then I'm guessing your back's probably gonna hurt. Why? Because it's off. It's literally atrophied. We need to erect it. We need to turn it on in order for us to start rebuilding some of that integrity. It's literally that simple. If you start recognizing that you are having, like, for instance, numbing and tingling in the hands, right? And anytime you flex, you start to create symptoms, think of reversing those symptoms. Do the opposite. That is literally gold, right? When we have regular activity in our life, we are constantly going through all these ranges of motion, right? Never allowing our body to fully compress. Most of my clientele is people that work in tech or in computers, okay? I rarely get people that are physical at their jobs. Things like plumbers, carpenters, landscapers, construction workers. Now, they deal with a different set of sequence of pain, but never from compression, right? Often what I see with them is more repetitive stress things. For instance, like swinging a hammer and turning a screwdriver. You know what I mean? Doing this a billion times a day can cause some dysfunction with time, right? But the moral here, what I really want you to focus on is build some awareness around your body. That's why massage is so important. It's crazy how we are so disconnected from our bodies. Our anxieties and our stress manifest in our bodies, right? Hey, Eddie. Manifest in our bodies. I'll give you a personal example. When I'm really stressed and anxious, I tend to hold a lot of tension in my face and my jaw. I squeeze my teeth. I get a lot of TMJ-like symptoms. I get a lot of tension headaches, especially around the kind of temporal areas. And I just hold it. Sometimes I have my wife look over at me and she just asks, like, "Are you okay?" And I go, "Yeah, why?" She's like, "Your face is literally flexing from, like, hyperfixation on stress or anxiety." Sometimes it's completely subconscious, but that's the trick. I want you to bring it from your subconscious and put it into your prefrontal consciousness. You know what I mean? Like, massage closes the loop. My hands tell your body what to feel. Sometimes I'll be working on someone's traps and I go, "Oh, you feel that? That's really tight, isn't it?" And I go, "Yeah, it's because you're holding it by your ears." And they go, "Oh, snap, I am." And then they drop their shoulders, right? In those moments, I ask my patients, "What are you thinking about?" And they go, what do you mean?" I go, "What were you just thinking about?" Because your body was responding to something happening in your mind. And then they go, "Well, I'm just kind of stressed about this work thing that I have going on." That's the magic sauce. That's 50% of all of your relief lives in that little moment right there. The moment you can recognize it pouring into your consciousness and your body's behaving, we need to learn to let it go and recognize it. It's so important, and it takes months to get decent at recognizing all of our patterns. There's this peculiar little paradox where nobody knows us better than us, but we don't know anything about ourselves. We have these mechanisms that are completely subconscious, right? Why does our body react to our emotions and our frustrations and our anxieties? I don't know, right? But that's your job, okay? Another tip I want you to be mindful of or start to implement into your life is lengthening. Okay. If you are compressing, you need extension, right? If you are flexing, you need extension. If you're extending, you should be flexing. Okay. What does that mean? Okay. I'll give you an example. When you sit all day, the trunk of your body kind of creates this L shape, this 90, degree angle. It causes all of the anatomy on the front side of the body, like the quads, the abdomen, and the pecs to compress. Okay. That's all short. It's all called flexion. This is flexion of the hip. This is flexion of the trunk. Okay. This is, flexion of the shoulders. We need the opposite. Okay. So that means that we need to erect the back. Flexion, extension. Okay. More extension. And then pulling the legs back, more extension, right? And that does the opposite. For every 2 hours that you sit, you owe me 5 minutes of stretching. If you sit for 8 hours a day, stretch for a minimum of 20 minutes per day. But I want your stretches to be super intentional, meaning I want you to recognize or jot it down, right? If you are noticing that you bend your wrist a lot, you need the opposite. You need to extend the wrist. That's what you should be doing in your stretch sessions, right? If you notice that you're sitting all day and you're getting stiffness and tightness on the top of the thighs, you need the opposite, okay? Get the leg into extension, right? Get the length through the quads. I want you to be aware of where your body is collecting your stress, shortening, and tension. Okay? Super important and critical for your health. You need to take responsibility. I love that you come and see me, but the less I see you, the better you are. 99% of the work is your responsibility, assuming you don't have any major concerns or injuries, okay? Most of us don't and are lucky that we don't, okay? I'm not talking about the ones with injuries who need us to, participate in their lives way more regularly. Okay, so if you are looking at your phone all day and just completely destroying your neck by doing this all day, do yourself a favor. I want you to look like a fool, and I want you to raise your phone a little bit higher than forward, okay? When your shoulder starts to hurt, that's enough. That means put your phone down. That means you've been on for way too long already. If you can't hold the phone in your face, then get off, go do something else, or stretch. Or mount your phone up here and then stretch, and then you can do both. I don't know, put it on your television. But the point is that build some recognition around your body. I hope I didn't come off like I'm yelling at you. I'm not trying to, but sometimes at the clinic, I have 6 patients a day and I have a short amount of time in between my sessions to hurry up and flip the room and get the next one in. And I wish I sometimes just had 20, 30 minutes to just talk and really just, inject all this information into their brain, right? I typically meet my patients where they are in their life, right? I ask them what are some of your daily habits? Where do you think your tension is coming from? How much can you commit to right now? Have you done exercise before? If so, what type? All that is so important. You should have answers to all of these, and it's okay if you don't, because life's busy and complicated. But we can find ways to start injecting, I don't know, some of these little bits and tidbits and knowledge into our day. You don't have to particularly dedicate 20 minutes every single day, 7 days a week. Dude, just do it during your work day. Like when your body goes, my neck hurts, after 90 minutes at the computer, don't ignore that. Stretch your neck, lengthen it, get some activity in there, get up, go get some water, something, right? We need to keep our body moving, okay? I love you guys so much and I want you to be better. And I really, truly mean that. But I also need you to take responsibility as well. Being healthy is hard and requires a lot of attention and a lot of care. Be kind to yourself. It's normal and we all go through this. I love you so much. Take it easy. Subscribe. Hit that like button, little tap button for me. Peace out. Mwah.